Guys, what's up? I think I'll start with China news. I have been requested to read out news from China, so I think I'll start with news from China and let's see how it goes. I'm late again today. I'm working on the time. Let's see how things work out. So let's start. China's stake in Maldives leaves little room for diplomacy with India. Though China has had deeper historical and cultural ties with Malay, China made rapid inroads into the island country with its infrastructure products. Infrastructure projects. China and Maldives upgraded their relationship last week to a comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership during a series of bilateral meetings between the top leadership in Beijing. The upgrade kicked in amid a new Delhi male diplomatic row over bitter and unsavory remarks made by Maldivian government. So that's one important news. China welcomes island nation's decision to cut ties with Taiwan. Interesting. China has said it has welcomed Nauru's decision to cut ties with Taiwan after the Pacific Island nation announced it was severing relationships with Taipei. As a sovereign and independent nation, Nauru has announced that it has severed its so called diplomatic relations with Taiwan and is willing to restore relations with China. China appreciates and welcomes the Nauru government's decision. Beijing views self ruled Taiwan as part of its territory and has refused to rule out the use of force to seize it one day. It does not maintain diplomatic relations with countries that recognize Taipei as a sovereign state. China is now after countries who are severing ties with Taiwan and it's trying to strike up a cordial relationship with that country so that they can continue with economic development. And what is economic development for China? It is to create inroads into that country through the Belt Initiative, where they will develop infrastructure, roads, electrical projects, which include ports, infrastructure, building, commercial buildings, which also include the electrical development, the electronic development of that particular area. That is how China is going inroads into most of the countries through their Belt Initiative. And now they are also picking up those countries which are cutting ties with Taiwan. The only reason behind it is, I won't say one reason, I would say there are two reasons. First, Taiwan's isolation is very important for China. Second, the country which isolates Taiwan, China quickly takes that opportunity to grow business with them. So it's like uh, having too many opportunities at one stroke, right? So this is what they have done with Taiwan. Let's see how Taiwan is able to handle the situation. Taiwan has faced a lot of flack from China, not just China, from also from those countries which favor China. So they have received a lot of flack, and if this goes on, I think China will be able to influence other countries to isolate Taiwan. And this is a very important uh, progress for China in terms of isolating Taiwan and also growing economic ties with Nauru. Okay, China is willing to open a new chapter in bilateral ties with Nauru on the basis of this principle. Their principle is only one thing. China always has some motive or the other with any country, not just India. With India, they have had historic enmity for the past so many years, and in spite of all that war that has taken place in the 70s and the growing tension in the past few decades has not deterred China from its unscrupulous motives to keep India in a tight spot, to create problems for India. It has been doing so and it will keep on doing, but they don't realize that in that process they are also pushing the country down. That is what they are doing, but they don't realize that. Anyway, next news. China growth seen slowing to 4.6% in 2024, raising heat on policy makers. China's economic growth is likely to slow to 4.6% in 2024 and cool further to 4.5% in 2023, raising the heat on policymakers to roll out more stimulus measures amid deflationary measures and a severe property slump. Gross domestic product likely grew 5.2% in 2023, meeting the government's annual growth target, partly helped by the previous year's low base effect, which was marked by COVID-19 lockdown, according to median forecasts of 58 economists, as has been revealed by some media houses. Okay, let's move on to the Middle East now. Okay, one more very important news from China. China experimenting with 100% deadly new COVID strain. A group of mice were administered with SARS-CoV-2 related pangolin coronavirus to test its effect. The results indicate potential dangers and a risk of the virus spilling over on humans. Some people never learn, and this is the case with China every time. Now they have started experimenting with more dangerous viruses, which if start spreading the way the first variant of COVID-19 did, we will see another COVID era which lasted more than 2 years. So if this experiment fails, it's going to affect humans just the way it did the first time, and who knows, this time it could be even worse. But as I said, some people, some countries never learn from their mistakes and they love to repeat them. Okay, before we move on to the Middle East, let's talk about Donald Trump. Trump wins Iowa caucuses in crucial victory at the outset of the Republican presidential campaign. The size of Trump's accomplishment is still being determined, but fans of the former president braved a historic and life-threatening cold snap to attend caucus sessions held in schools, churches, and community centers around the state. Donald Trump won the Iowa caucuses on Monday, a key victory all at the start of the Republican primary that strengthens the former president's tie with his party's members, even as he faces severe legal battles that might hinder his drive for re-election. The size of Trump's accomplishment is still being determined, but fans of the former president braved a historic and life threatening cold snap to attend these caucuses. So, though there have been a lot of cases against him of felony and other sorts, it seems he is determined to fight this year's election as well. He has bad mouth President Biden a lot. We know he has been doing that ever since President Biden was elected, and he had said that he would at one point of time he would definitely remove President Biden. Let's see how successful he is this time. Let's just wait and see. Okay, let's move on to the Middle East. Let me pull out some news articles. Iran launches strike on Israel's spy headquarters in Iraq. Iran's Revolutionary Guards have launched attacks in Iraq's Kurdistan region and Syria, targeting an alleged Israeli spy headquarters and Islamic State positions. The move comes in the wake of the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict that began on October 7th, involving various Iranian allies in the Middle East. The Guards stated the strikes were in retaliation for Israeli actions that led to the deaths of their commanders. Many people have been killed both in Israel and Gaza, but the fighting is still going on. Hold on, I'm just pulling out some news articles. I don't know why my internet is slow today. It's usually not. Okay. Oil prices rise as Middle East tensions rise. Oil prices rose on Tuesday as investors weighed the impact of tensions in the Middle East. Brent crude futures gained 77 cents or about 0.99% to $78.92 a barrel. The contract has lost 14 cents on Monday. US West Texas Intermediate crude was up 46 cents or 0.63% from Friday as 73.14 per barrel. US markets were closed for a public holiday on Monday. An escalating conflict in the Middle East and consequently increased volatility in oil futures focused attention on Tuesday. Israel failed in Gaza and will negotiate. Okay. The head of Lebanon's Iran backed Hezbollah movement said on Sunday that Israel had failed to achieve its objectives in Gaza and this will force it to negotiate. What has the enemy achieved in 100 days other than killing? Hussein uh, Nasrallah asked in a televised speech. It has not achieved any real victory or semblance of victory. It has failed in achieving its declared, half declared, and implicit objectives, he added on the 100th day of the Israel Hamas war. Nasrallah's speech commemorated the death of a senior Hezbollah commander, Wissam Tawi, killed by Israel in southern Lebanon on January 8. The war between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip was triggered by the Palestinian militant group's October 7 attack on southern Israel, which resulted in the deaths of around 1,200 people in Israel, mostly civilians, according to reports. In retaliation, Israel vowed to destroy Hamas and launched a relentless bombardment and ground offensive in Gaza, which has killed at least 24,000 people, mostly women and children. So bad and so sad. Since the war began, there have been nearly daily exchanges of fire across the Israel-Lebanon border between Hamas, ally Hezbollah, and the Israeli military. Hi K-pop root. Hi, how you doing? Hi, Fatima. Oh, I don't give kisses on my videos, so I'm sorry. Okay, some more news. Alvarez and Marshall restructuring executive has been detained in UAE. An executive from consulting firm Alvarez and Marshall was detained in the United Arab Emirates while working to overhaul a Nasdaq listed company that US authorities charged with fraud last month, according to some sources. Guy Wall, the managing director of A&M's restructuring practice in Dubai, last month became a director of Rouge Energy Limited, a UAE oil storage company that has been plagued by financial reporting's failing since listing in New York in 2019. Wall and a colleague became directors after A&M was appointed in November by a Cayman Islands court to oversee the liquidation of BPGIC Holdings, the holding company that is the majority owner of Bruges. Okay, some more. UAE says Houthi attacks on ships in Red Sea pose unacceptable threat. That's true. The United Arab Emirates has voiced serious concerns regarding the impact of recent attacks by Houthi militants on shipping vessels in the Red Sea, deeming them an unacceptable threat to regional security. The UAE Foreign Ministry on Friday said that it was worried about the consequences of the attacks on marine navigation in Bab al Mandab and the Red Sea, adding that such actions pose a threat to international trade, regional security, and global interests, which is true. The Red Sea route is a very important route from where a lot of ships pass with exports. That is a very important route where you will see a number of ships passing all through the day, where they have to reach various countries with their ship of exports. Hi Fatima, thanks for joining in. India using rupees to pay for gold imports from UAE. Important development. India is now paying for its import of gold, among some other items, from the United Arab Emirates in rupees. According to an official, the UAE is using rupees to pay for its gems and jewelry purchases from India. The rupee settlement of trade between India and UAE for select commodities is being done via the special rupee Vostro accounts mechanism that was introduced by the Reserve Bank of India in July 2022. Under the mechanism, Indian rupees can be used for invoicing, payment and settlement of exports or imports. UAE DIVA extends over 364 kilometers of fiber optic ducts in 2023. The Dubai Electricity and Water Authority extended over 364 kilometers of fiber optic ducts across different areas of in Dubai in 2023. The expansion has increased the total length of these cable ducts to 3,998 kilometers, a 10% increase compared to 2022. That's some good news, as many regions now will get a lot of electricity that wasn't receiving much before. The initiative aligns with DEWA's commitment to developing a world-class digital infrastructure that leverages the transformative technologies of the fourth industrial revolution and digital transformation. DEWA has made substantial investments with fixed assets exceeding 214 billion dirham as of June 30, 2023. Very important development for UAE people and for the UAE economy as a country as a whole. Bigger OPEC quota will help boost UAE's economic growth. Very important news. A higher oil production quota will help to stimulate economic growth in the United Arab Emirates this year, according to a forecast by Focus Economics cited in newspapers. Last year, UAE produced less oil than it did in 2022, but this year it negotiated a higher quota with its partners in OPEC. For the duration of the year, the UAE can produce up to 3,000, is it 3,000? 3,219 million barrels per day of crude oil. That's a huge, huge quota. 3,219 million barrels per day of crude oil. That's a huge quota. I hope UAE is able to live up to the expectations that they have set for themselves. It is a very huge quota that they have given, and they should be able to actually do it and make things happen, because it's not easy to mine out 3,200, more than 3,000 million barrels of uh, crude oil per day. Still, that would mean cutting production during the first quarter of the year by some 1,60,000 barrels per day. That would be equal to 5% on its average 2023 output. As the UAE's oil output fell in 2023, exports of crude oil also declined. This is what has happened. Okay. Saudi online cosmetics retailer Nice One plans local IPO. Nice One is planning an initial public offering, joining a number of Middle Eastern technology startups planning share sales. Okay, one of the biggest news of Saudi Arabia that was long awaited. Saudi Arabia unveils stunning new Prince Mohammed bin Salman Stadium in Qiddiya City amid 2034 World Cup bid, with state-of-the-art venue featuring world's first fully combined retractable pitch roof and LED wall. The multi-use venue, which is situated in Qiddiya City, is set to provide the backdrop to some of the region's biggest sports, entertainment, and cultural events. The impressive construction is expected to attract visitors from all over the world while revolutionizing the traditional stadium experience with its impressive design and unique technological features that put spectators at the center of the show. Okay. Okay, now I'll read out some international news. I also don't have that much time. Mm, Okay. Goldman Sachs profit climbs as equity traders write market d- uh, rebound. Goldman Sachs profit rose 51% in the fourth quarter as its equity traders capitalized on a recovery in markets and revenue from its assets and wealth management business rose, offsetting weakness in its investment banking. Volkswagen and rivals plug away at solid state battery puzzle. YouTube making money off new breed of climate denial monitoring group says YouTube is making millions of dollars a year from advertising on channels that make false claims about climate change because content creators are using new tactics that evade the social media platform's policies to combat misinformation, according to a report that has been published. Elon Musk wants 25% voting control at Tesla before fulfilling AI goal. Elon Musk said he would be uncomfortable growing the automaker to be a leader in artificial intelligence and robotics without having at least 25% voting control of the company, nearly double his current stake. He said in a post on social media platform that unless he got stock in the world's most valuable automaker that was enough to be influential but not so much that I can't be overturned at Tesla, he would prefer to build products outside of the electrical vehicle manufacturer. Another of his tactics to take more control of the company. Shell to exit Nigeria's troubled onshore oil after nearly a century. My God. Shell is set to conclude nearly a century of operations in Nigerian onshore oil and gas after agreeing to sell its subsidiary there to a consortium of five mostly local companies for up to $2.4 billion. The British energy giant pioneered Nigeria's oil and gas business beginning in the 1930s. It has struggled for years with hundreds of onshore oil spills as a result of theft, sabotage, and operational issues that led to costly repairs and high profile lawsuits. I think that will be all for today. Bye. Take care.